What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Alliance Blog Podcast, a presentation of alliance-wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance and the United Wrestling Network. And tonight, my guest is a champion, a multiple-time champion for the National Wrestling Alliance, and currently, your United Wrestling Network Women's Champion. And I'm talking about Big Bad Mama. Welcome to the show, Mama. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Good. You got the merch on and everything.
I do. I'm rocking it. Ride or die, baby.
So it's kind of neat that we're talking right now. Power airs on Roku right now. Gotham Wrestling's taking place right now in New York, and you're on your way to practice. You're training. You're getting ready for your next big matchup. Everything is just going positively right now, and it's good to see you. Oh, they said that they can't hear you on TikTok. That's a bummer.
Oh no.
Well, we'll put up clips and stuff on TikTok.
Okay, perfect.
But welcome to the show. How you been?
You know, it has been crazy whirlwind, go, but it's like the best kind of go. Like this is what I wanted, and this is where we're at, and it's freaking amazing. Making towns, making names, beating people up. It's kind of, you can't ask for anything more than that.
It's funny. The last time that we talked, you said something that was so profound, and I don't know if you had practiced it or what, because it was great. But you're like, I accidentally have made all my dreams come true, and like that resonated with me so much because one, it was pretty accurate at the time. You were both the United Wrestling Network Women's Champion. You were also the NWA Women's Television Champion and NWA Tag Team Champion. And for some of us who, you know, I don't live in Ohio, I live in Southern California. So my first introduction to you was what you were doing in Memphis wrestling and with the NWA. And now seeing you kind of blow up and now you're all over the place. You really did kind of capitalize on that momentum of accidentally making your dreams come true.
Yeah.
What has been going on since then?
Man, it has been, I was just literally talking to my husband the other day about this. I have not been home for 12 weekends in a row.
Wow.
So, which I don't know if that's bad wife award or good worker award. I'm not sure where it falls under. He gets the grind.
I think you get the good worker award because, I mean, let's be honest, you know, no one goes into pro wrestling to sit at home. You go into to make dates and to get booked and to get those opportunities, and you're out here doing that. So of course that's a huge green flag as far as I'm concerned. You got that hustle. If you're out there working, that's great.
Yeah, it's been really awesome. It's opened so many doors. I've gotten to wrestle so many different women from all over the country, and I'm getting ready to go back to Canada again.
Wow.
So I mean, everybody wants a piece of Big Mama, and I'm here to give them that piece and more. So it's been really good. I also made my TNA Xplosion debut on February 13th. That was my birthday week surprise. So like it has been it's been really cool. It's been a really great experience. And honestly, a lot of people will be like, they're tired. No, I'm like, I'm hungry right now. I want everything I can get, any town I can get to. Like it's been amazing. It's really been amazing.
Quiet mouths don't get fed. So you gotta bark. You gotta, you know, yell out those bookings because of course, again, nobody gets into this business to sit at home. I think you have to get out there and make yourself well known. And in the chat, our friend Patrick Moore mentioned that you were great in Derby City wrestling. But it's not just Derby City. I mean, I've seen you out in Irvine. I've seen you out in Long Beach. Of course, you've had defenses for Gotham Wrestling as well. You've really taken that women's title and ran with it for the United Wrestling Network. Tell me about that experience. Of course, you know, knowing Dave Marquez as long as I have, he was always reluctant to crown a women's champion. Women wrestlers aren't always reliable. It's hard to get them booked. But when you came to the United Wrestling Network through Derby City and later working with Memphis, you really kind of you changed that viewpoint from Dave Marquez. Obviously, he's been proud to have you as his champion. And tell me about the opportunities of being able to showcase that title and representing the United Wrestling Network.
It's such a huge, being anybody's champion is obviously it's a big moment. It's that company is trusting you. They're putting their faith in you to defend it, to put on the best matches you possibly can. But then to also be the inaugural champion amps that pressure up so much more, I feel like. And really my attitude towards it was, I'm going to take this ball and I'm going to run with it. And I am legitimately the only United Wrestling Network champion that can say they have been to every single town that shows run in. And I make monthly treks to Memphis. I did miss the last one. I am sorry, Memphis. I apologize. I had a sprained ankle. So I was hobbling, but it wasn't working too fast. But just getting to have my name out there and be against every single woman that can possibly wants to step to me, and know that I am bearing that name, and being able to also just take it out on my own. For example, I was just at Squared Circle Expo in Indianapolis, and it was just so awesome to be able to connect with all of those fans that came knowing that I was there as United Wrestling Network champion, and being able to connect on that level as well. So it brings this platform so much bigger for me, and it just so much more opportunities to bring that spotlight to women's wrestling and my wrestling, period.
Now, after the last time we spoke, you had a title defense out in Kentucky. Now, that wasn't in a United Wrestling Network event, but it was a matchup where you were able to defend that title. Are these opportunities, have they been presenting themselves for you to take the United Wrestling Network Women's Championship to places outside of the UWN?
They definitely have. And I think, so that was at Gen Next Pro Wrestling. And one of the really cool things I think that it has provided is I'm getting to meet a lot more women, even in my area, as far as wrestling them, and new talent, bringing up new energy, like where so much people weren't seeking that out before. It not only brings that excitement to their show and their events, but it's also amping it up for, this is a whole new fresh batch of blood that's coming after UNW. So it opens up on both ends of the spectrum on that.
So in the chat, there's a fan of the Memphis program, Patrick Moore, and he says he wants a UWN women's title match on Memphis. Has Dustin and Maria ever offered that opportunity for you to defend the title on TV?
So we have not defended it there yet. It has 100% been a conversation. Patrick, please let us know who you want to see that happen with. I will take on anybody and everybody who is in that locker room. It does not bother me. See Rex, Raven Black, KJ, Zaya, you name it, I'll take them all on. Doesn't hurt my feelings.
KJ Rocket is somebody that you have defended the title against. Tell me about her as an opponent. I mean, obviously, like, I'm a Southern California guy. I go to the shows. You've seen me at the shows. So I know who Alex Gracia is. I know who Brittany Brooks is. I even know from the NWA, I know who Marty Bell is. But some of these talent like KJ Rocket or Tegan Rose, I'm not super familiar with. What can you tell me about them?
So KJ she cheats. I'm going to be honest. She cheats. She takes advantage of her group. However, to that end, she's scrappy and she is resilient, and you have to fight tooth and nail for every inch of that ring. For as small as she is, she may hate this reference. She's Mighty Mouse, man. Like she can bring it, and she has busted my chops more than I probably care to admit. However, at the same time, I mean, she's all go, and she is hungry, and she wants more. She is one that if I don't see more out of her, I'm going to be upset, because I really think that she is showing so much promise.
Do a lot of the promoters that you work with, you know, Dave and Dustin and of course, NWF, do a lot of the promoters look at you and say, "Hey, we know that you're out there. Who are some of the talents that you like working with? Who are some of the talents that we should be looking at?" Do you get the, I guess, scouting reports? Do you hand those out to some of the talent?
So I definitely, I have several promoters that I work with, and definitely Dave, Dustin, all of them. I've definitely had those conversations. And I think one of the cool things that I've been able to afford myself in this situation is, so I obviously had my group of people that I was familiar with, and but I'm always scouting because I also run a women's event. So I'm always scouting for that as well. And this has opened up even more of an opportunity. People are sending me material and saying,
Okay.
"Hey, this is I'm interested. I'm willing to jump in a car." So it's opened up a lot more of a window for me to see people, because independent wrestling is so huge and there's so much talent that you can't possibly see it all. So it's really opened up a huge window for me to be able to see more. And man, I am astounded by some of the talent out here right now, man. Like it's really good.
The last time you were on, again, you had just become United Wrestling Network Women's Champion, but you are currently the television champion as well as the tag team champion for the NWA. Becoming that single focused world champion for the UWN, how did that change your approach when it came to pro wrestling, and how did it change your approach to bookings?
Absolutely. So I had to learn this phrase, quality over quantity.
Absolutely.
I am human, as much as I hate to admit that. I cannot be in 5 towns at one time, as much as I don't want to admit that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's really changed the approach and what is going to represent the UWN the best. What is going to bring the best out of me so that I am performing my absolute best? What is what's going to be that 5-star banger, as for the lack of a better phrase there? Just what I'm at the point now where, yes, I love getting in the ring with new people. I love getting in the ring with pretty much with any and all talent, but I want someone who wants it just as bad as I do, and I want someone who's going to push me just as far as I want to push other people. And this has enabled me to take more of those bookings than I had prior to that.
Since winning the title, has that changed how you look at your business and the sport of pro wrestling? Like, has it changed, where you're willing to work, like who you're willing to work with? Because, like you said, you have a responsibility now to carry that UWN banner with you wherever you go. Does that force you to be a little bit more discerning on where you'll work?
You definitely do. It comes with no, I can't just take every booking, unfortunately. As much
Yeah,
as you because you love it. If you didn't love it, you wouldn't be in the ring.
right.
However, I mean, it's definitely the locker rooms that I'm in now and the talent that I'm surrounded by. I feel like it's definitely been a level up, and I've definitely had to be more discerning in who I'm with. It can't just be, okay, this is so and so's. They've been here for 3 months. They also have to earn it too. It's kind of a two-way street on that, to where, all right, we're ready. Let's push this. Let's go, and let's really step up.
I would say, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but two of your biggest adversaries since becoming the UWN Women's Champion have been Marty Bell and Alex Gracia. And I would like to ask you, while wrestling both of them, tell me how they're different and tell me how they're the same.
So, I mean, they're the same because they both want what I have. Let's just be honest. Face of Derby City, Marty, for that championship. They were in Manhattan calling for it, and we all know Gracia wanted it. We all know that. She was telling everybody and anybody on any
She,
platform she could find. And however, I've known Marty for a very long time, a good deal of my career. We actually accidentally realized that we were on one of each other's very first shows way back in the day. I will not say the time because I will not do that to her. Way back in the day, though. And
okay.
when we stepped in, we had a point for almost about 6 to 8 weeks. I think we literally wrestled 4 or 5 times. And
Wow.
and every single match brought out just a whole other level of competition. And that last match that we had was at Gotham Wrestling in her hometown. And, you know, she had to show up and show out. And Marty brings out a side of me. Just, it doesn't matter how hard you hit me, I'm going to get the hell back up. And she just brings that intensity and that aggression out of me so well. And I don't know what she triggers in me, but she does something to me. And like, that's not something that I can find with everybody in the ring. And it's a special moment. I mean, I want to punch her in the face or sit on her. I also did that. But she's just able to bring that different level of aggression out for me. And then Alex Gracia, good Lord, that smack heard around the world. I just have to say that there is a picture perfect photo of that from Sunday Night Slam, the very first one. That was literally, for the lack of, let's behave ourselves on language, 2 bad bees that were going to give every ounce of physicality that they had in their body, because she gave me every single inch of aggression, every single, I don't think she had anything left in the tank by the end of the night. And I was doing the same thing. And that smack turned on, I legitimately, a level of, oh, we're going down now, that I truly don't think I've ever tapped into. I've watched it back legitimately probably 15 to 20 times. And I'm just like, I need to find that again.
There was a moment during that match at Sunday Night Slam, and I am a very inexperienced ringside photographer. Dave is very kind and has let me bring amateur hour to Sunday Night Slam and take photos ringside. And you guys spilled out of the ring, and I did not know where to go, and I just kind of held onto the ring post and helped that I could shrink in size and get out of your guys' way, because the look on your eyes was a little intimidating. I gotta be honest, I thought you might punch me. It was very wild in that moment, and I just kept thinking, like, I kept looking at Alex. I'm like, you poor girl, because you were just beating the tar out of her at points. And it was a fun match, don't get me wrong, and I know she did give you a good fight, but ultimately you were successful in that title match. And it was, you know, I like to think of us as friends, you know, and I'm not supposed to be biased in any way, but objectively, I'm like, I'm watching a good match here, and I'm glad my friend won the match. But you know, when you came into that environment, did you think, you know, the idea that you can lose has to always be there? And I know that's a volume that you turn down because you're a professional, but like, does a thought ever come into your head like, hey, this might be my last title defense?
It definitely does. And I that's definitely something I think that's changed for me, is that I always go out to the ring and I want to give 110% of myself. Like, that's just, it's not my nature to not do that. Being that representative and having that very thought has very, I feel like I'm more present and much more, you're not stopping to smell the roses, you're stopping to punch them in the face. But having, like, coming out with that Titantron and that amazing setup that at Sunday Night Slam, and just walking out and going, let's freaking go. Like, it's just a moment of, even in the middle of the match, you catch yourself soaking it in and going, all right, let's go even harder. So it's definitely, that's something I've noticed in all of my matches, I really think, since then.
You just mentioned the Thunder Studios, and what a beautiful venue for pro wrestling. I really I like, and I do want to talk about your TNA debut and working with them as well. But have you ever stepped into a wrestling venue prettier than the Thunder Studios?
It was so pretty. I mean, I definitely put up photos of it. I mean, you want to talk about a 5-star setup? That's it. From top to bottom, everybody did what they needed to do to make that look amazing and gorgeous, and the crowd was amazing. Like from the beginning of the day to the end, like you couldn't have asked for just an entirely better work. Everything, it was just so good. The production was legitimately top tier.
And it's interesting because I don't mean to brag, but I've done a lot of Dave's first shows, right? Like I was there in Atlanta when his first Atlanta show. I was there in Cuttahy when he did the first New Japan USA show. I was there in China with the United Wrestling Network International show, and of course for Hollywood I was at those first shows, and I got to tell you, there's something very unique about Sunday Night Slam, and I know he's been working on it for a long time, so I'm proud of him in that respect. But I absolutely feel like he delivered on this show, and
Absolutely.
the next show is this Sunday, and unfortunately, you're not going to be a part of this one. But I really hope that we will see you at a future Sunday Night Slam because again,
Yep, I've already been
representation.
in communication.
I heard some stuff, and I know I'm not supposed to talk about it, so I'm gonna zip my lip. But I know we will see you again very soon for Sunday Night Slam, and it was cool seeing you again in that venue because it was a big night for Dave. It was a big night for the United Wrestling Network. It was a big step forward for the company, and the fact that you got to be included with that, along with the world champion Jordan Cruz, the tag team champions 5150. Heck, even the TV champion Evan Daniels, you guys all carried the United Wrestling Network very proudly, and it was really cool to see all of that in person and up close. And of course, people could watch both the old episodes on YouTube, and they'll be having a new episode on this Sunday, the 5th, that I encourage everyone to check out as well.
I will be tuned in, so 100%.
The next question in the chat is, how do you like wrestling in the Wrestle Center?
I love it.
It's a very unique experience. I've only watched it from TV, and it's radically different from maybe Sunday Night Heat, but it's very old school in its approach.
It is very much so what I grew like how I grew up in wrestling. As far as like, it is just a very it's an old school classic arena, and the fans are right up there with you. I've seen some signs that I don't know that my family would appreciate.
Oh no.
Regarding some assets of mine. We're just gonna leave it at that.
Fair.
Yeah. They liked when Raven and I were friends for our attributes. Leave it at that. And there were signs that said that. But the fans themselves, like, they are wild, they are crazy, they are into it. Like, they are off the chain, but it's so much fun. Like, and Justin and the team, like, they do amazing. Like, it's such a cool setup, and it's such a cool atmosphere. And I got to Too Sweet the Good Brothers, so I mean that was a good day too.
Always a good day for the Good Brothers. Now, of course, representation matters in women's wrestling. I feel like now more than ever, women's wrestling is getting the respect it deserves, all the way from the top, all the way down to the independents. We're seeing women's wrestling treated less like a spectacle, more of a show. It's part of the show. It's not, oh, and we got some girls. No, it's some of the best matches are coming from the women.
Now
on the
it's
roster.
time for the ladies match.
It's funny. At one time, a long time ago, that's how Dave advertised a women's match, and people were pissed. And he's like, "Am I just out of touch?" I said, "Yeah, Dave, you're out of touch. So you can't say ladies match. It's these are women and they're wrestlers. It's like it's just as important as any other match on the card. And he's changed his philosophy on that. But it was, and we have the ladies. Oh, Dave, you can't say that. But what does it mean to you to be that? You like in pro wrestling, I feel like there is a unique look and shape for everybody, and you represent working class women. You represent an ass kicker. You represent the strength of women, and when you come into the ring, you bring power. You bring intensity, and it's a challenging because and a lot of times women, even in wrestling, are expected to be dainty and delicate, and you get in that ring and you're not delicate at all. So
No.
how is the responsibility for you of being that bruiser in the ring? You are a bruiser when you step into that ring.
Honestly, I love it. One of my biggest things that I wanted to accomplish in wrestling was making a difference and leaving it better than when I left it or when I came in. And in the last 6 months at 2 conventions I've been to, have had just some of the most incredible conversations with some of these fans about that representation. Just, I'm not afraid to be the bigger girl now. Like that, they're very much so. Like, you made me want to dress up. Like, I have little girls that are legitimately dressing up as Big Mom when they come to these conventions.
That's dope.
That is one of those moments where it's just like, this is the reason that I'm doing this. And it's so cool. And you know what? There's a female sports athlete, my brain was dying, that I absolutely love, Alona Maher. And her phrase that she uses so much that I just absolutely love and embrace: take up space, be big, be strong. Like, and that so much is, I remember so much when I started, I was like, I'm not tiny like them. I'm never going to get anywhere because of this. And that's like, you know what? No, I walk into locker rooms that I've never been in, and I literally hear people saying, "Oh, Big Mama." They hear that name and they know that it's different and it's dangerous. And that is everything that I could ask for and more. And it's very much so, I think, like, especially in the last few years, I love it. I get to enjoy it, and I get to I'm the big baddest bee in this world, in this ring. And what are you gonna do about it? Because you're tiny. Give me everything you got, and then give me 10% more, because that's what it's gonna take down.
So I do want to address the elephant in the room, and of course, if this is a subject that is off limits, you just give the old high sign. But we haven't seen you in the NWA since you've lost the tag titles. And as a fan, as someone who talks about the NWA nonstop, and I know for a fact that they need more diverse women on the roster, and they had that with you, and we haven't seen you in a while. And of course, you held the tag team championship with Kenzie Page. You held the television championship. You ended up winning that title off of TV, which I still don't understand why that match never made it online at the very least. But your defense on Power is the time that you lost the title. Tell me about, how do you feel about the NWA, and is there still discussion going on? I mean, could we see you in an NWA ring in the future, or is that time passed?
So, I mean, we're definitely still in a very good working relationship. We still have communication. A lot of it right now is different things, different people that they're wanting to make sure are in there and featured. And a lot of it is that. But I mean, the door is always open, and Big Mama always makes her rounds. And I mean, we've definitely, I actually just at Squared Circle was spending time with Carson Drake, although I don't know if that was a good idea, questionable at times, and part of the Southern Six and Danny Deals. So it was great to be able to catch up with them. I love seeing the Good Brothers there doing their thing right now with the Crockett Cup. So I mean, we've definitely been in. It's kind of a matter of when and where, I think, at this point. So, and definitely shout them out. Let them know you want to see some Big Mama. So,
I look, I don't know how much more I can, but I do, and I encourage everyone listening to also respectfully, and I use that term very sternly, respectfully request that the NWA book Big Mama, because again, I do like, I do feel like the NWA has a very great roster of talent, and I felt like it was better when you were there. The women's division is kind of limping along right now, and I say that not as a detractor, but as someone who wants to see it thrive. There's a lot of
yeah.
great talent in the NWA women's division, but you know, you have technically or four title belts, and I don't know that there's 10 women who are actively on that NWA roster. It just feels
Yeah.
like, oh man, another good body, another good worker would be really good to have. And I'm not saying you need to convert the NWA into just a women's wrestling promotion, but let's bring in some more good talented women to work along with Markova and work along with Kenzie and Kylie and Tiffany Nieves and the Hex. I mean, look, you wrestled Marty Bell so many times. You've wrestled her in Exodus
All over the
Pro.
place.
You've wrestled her multiple times with the United Wrestling Network, and then lots of places outside of you know, the NWA or UWN. And I don't know, man, like they got to be able to just find a decent person to work. You know, you could find a tag team partner and have a great match with Allison Kay and Marty Bell, and I feel like the NWA is really missing out by not doing that.
I do want to say, I have never gotten to tag against Marty and AK, with the exception of one show, and it was the very last, like it was the very last second thing. Mama. So if someone can make this happen, I'm in and down, and let's go. I also, there's a giant over there, Miss Greta, that thinks she's unstoppable and big and bad. And I would love to see her try to choke slam me. That's all I'm gonna say.
Greta has a talent that I know is going to just get better in time, but you know, there aren't a lot of women like her in the sport of wrestling, let alone the NWA. And when it comes to thinking of women who could potentially have a good matchup with somebody that size, I mean, your name is one of the first that pop into my head. And again, you know, I don't know who's listening or not listening, but you know, Big Mama, you know, has wrestling boots and can work. Let's get her back on the NWA.
She also happens to be friends with Tiffany, which I'm not a big fan of. Clearly, I still need to get my title back. So yeah, I can definitely, if I need to go through Greta to get to her, that is not a problem in my book. I can do that too.
No rematch for the women's television title. No rematch for the women's tag team titles, both of which were won by Tiffany Nieves. I think you are at least due for a one-on-one matchup with her. I mean, come on. I mean, the story's right there.
Axe to grind here. Just gonna throw it out there.
So, and again, I highly recommend anyone listening to the podcast or watching us on YouTube or Kick or Twitch or wherever else you're watching, please respectfully request, if you would like to see Big Mama back in the NWA, please respectfully do so. Excellent. I was worried we lost you for good.
No, I am so sorry. Oh my gosh.
It's okay. Your phone doesn't always want to cooperate. That's okay. You're here. I did want to talk about TNA wrestling. Now,
yes,
I personally, I think now is a great time for wrestling talent to get out there. Of course, you know, the NWA and Roku, I think that's really, really cool. You've got Championship Wrestling from Hollywood airing on syndication on YouTube, Memphis Wrestling in its local market, Gotham Wrestling on YouTube. But I mean, being able to get on TNA Wrestling I feel like is really a pivotal time for that company because, after years of trying to make that next step, they have finally done that, and being on AMC has given them a new platform, making them uh, a greater visibility for a bigger audience, and even maybe not the fact that you haven't been on the television show, you did get to do an episode of Explosion, which I feel like is a gateway to making it to television. So how did you get in contact with TNA Wrestling, and tell me about the experience of getting your opportunity to wrestle on Explosion?
Absolutely. Like that, it was one of those making moments in wrestling, that's definitely what it's all about. But so I ended up, I've worked with Daniel Spencer, who's one of their referees, one of their head refs, and through that made that contact, and was able to really get more in touch with Johnny Bravo, and people behind the scenes. And as they say in wrestling, it's all about how you know them, who you know them, and when you know them.
Sure.
100%. Like that's just the reality of that. And we are very fortunate at the NWF, the home company, that Wildcat Chris Harris, one of their amazing alums, is one of our trainers and works very hand in hand behind the scenes with us now. And he spoke to Bravo, and he had put that word out for me, and just having that moment to really soak it in, like, all right, I'm going down, let's put the boots on, let's get to work. And I remember when I first learned that I was getting a match, and it was like, oh crap, okay, all right, well, this is what I signed up for, so let's do this. And there was that split second moment of right before my music hit and I went out and there was a Titantron, and I saw myself on the big screen, and it was just one of those moments of like 13-year-old me would be like, dude, I'm really cool right now.
For sure.
So it was one of those, I was pretty much like, I felt like amped up or geared up almost like all day, just really going with it. But I also, I've not always, Big Mama's big. I'm brash. I'm very confident. But then at times, when those lights turn off, I'm not. And I think that's all of us. But that's been something that I've had to overcome a lot. And a really cool takeaway that I had from this moment was really when everything hit and I walked out to that stage, it was like, I've got this. Let's go, and let's go deliver in the middle of this ring and give these fans something to be happy about. And it was just a really cool, surreal moment of finding that kind of inner peace going into the ring that you don't always find.
And that was against Mila Moore, who is part of the Diamond Collective. I mean, was there any kind of I don't want to say nerves, because like you've been here before. Like this isn't anything new, but it is different. You are in a different environment. I mean, tell me about that experience.
There's definitely a moment of just going, holy crap, what's about to happen right now?
Yeah.
And then you find out that, I mean, I was literally in the ring with Mila, with Tessa Blanchard, with Victoria Fox, Alicia Crow. I mean, you want to talk about some heavy hitters. There's some heavy hitters right there. And it was, yeah, there's definitely nerves. And one of the best things that I have found is that just means you're ready to go. And it's terrifying, but it's in that moment of just take that terror and let's go whoop some butts. And it was like, it's very much, I think that whole day, like I said, it was just a whole day of just going, all right, we just got to get here. Hurry up and wait. We got to get here. All right, as soon as that bell rings, I'm going to be golden, but I got to get to that bell ring.
So And that was for Explosion, but have you worked with TNA Wrestling, off air? Like, have you had matches for the live events?
So I have not yet. I was in attendance in Nashville. Um, I was doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes there. Um, I got to witness the most hellacious guitar shots I think I've ever seen on anybody ever in my life. that that thing literally exploded on top
Right.
on top of the stage. I was like, oh my god. Um, and being able to do that, and we've had some good inroads, and I will be back again. I cannot say the dates, but already in process, and some really good communication, I think, right now, um, as far as that end of things, and things are going well, and it's been a really good year of growth, I think, also in that respect of branching out even more on that.
I guess to somebody who doesn't know, right? Like as fans, we don't know what you have to do to get these connections, to get these opportunities. We don't know about the business side of pro wrestling. We just know like, oh, we want to see our favorites on TV, or we want to see you sign a contract, or it's very, from like 1,000 degrees of separation because we don't see the work that you put in. And
My child
my
is
question,
asking for money right now. Sorry. Oh,
it's
that was funny.
I have to ask you, like, did you when you got into the business, did you realize that there's a lot more involved than just showing up, that you actually have to build these bridges and be a communications manager and be a customer service manager and be a social media manager, like you're wearing so many hats. And were you aware of that when you got into the business, that you would have to be responsible for so much just to get seen and get these dates?
I 100% did not realize any of that. Full transparency. The funny thing is, I have a degree in social work. I have worked in that kind of realm for a long time. Um, and so much of that honestly has played into my ability to do so behind the scenes in wrestling, because it's so much having to be a people person when you don't want to be a people person
Oh
and
yeah,
things like that.
for sure.
And I think it's opened up so many, like, the sheer amount of just, it's the people managing, and like if I wasn't a wrestler, I probably wouldn't have social media. I think things of all
Girl,
of that
same.
nature of just really building your brand, building you, all while also still just performing in the ring, and so just so many facets, just like you were saying. And yeah, I did had no idea that all of it was going to have to come into play. But one of the things that I've loved so much is I really do learn on the go so much. Like for example, at the Northern Wrestling Federation, I learned how to edit film footage to do a weekly web show, literally in the space of a weekend. I had to figure it out just to get something together.
Yeah.
And then I ended up doing that for like the next 6, 7 months, and then swapped off with someone. And then I was learning how to do posters and graphics. And so and then in the ring, I've announced, God forbid, I will never do that again. I am so sorry to people who had to hear that. It was horrendous. But I mean, I've announced, I refereed, I've I've any role that you can think of. I've been the only person on security for an independent event because no one else was there. So I mean, so it's literally the more you know, the further you go.
For sure.
And it's so funny. So I'm the middle kid in my family. I'm the middle kid, so I was the invisible one, and wrestling is that space where I'm invisible, and it's very much so like, hey, I can figure this out because I've had to figure this out my entire life of how I'm going to get you to see me. So
Yeah.
it was very much my middle kid preparation to be a pro wrestler.
Wow. I feel like that's gonna be on a video clip for sure. The middle child has to be seen. In the chat, Patrick Moore, unfamiliar with the NWF. He wants to know where he can watch the NWF. Do you have
So
a,
if you
a
go
suggestion?
to nwfwrestling.com on Facebook, or also our social, just general webpage, we do have every Sunday Bustin' Loose, our weekly web show. I'm gonna brag on my husband. He will be on it this week because he is stepping into the ring for, oh my gosh, he's been wrestling for 42 years, and he is stepping into the ring this weekend and kicking butt and taking names. And yes, every Sunday, Bust and Loose, check it out. If you live in the Ohio area, Cincinnati, we are literally every single weekend we have events. Yeah, we literally, I think we have 3 weekends the entire year we do not have an event. So definitely, if you are Cincinnati, Indiana, this area, please come check us out because it is so much fun and it's family friendly, the whole 9 yards. So,
and I think that's great. There's so much wrestling out there, right? There's wrestling everywhere, but not all wrestling I want to bring my kids to. Like my daughters are. My oldest used to placate me, right? She'd say, "Dad, if you want to go to wrestling, I'll go with you." Great, you're my roadie, right? The little ones have no desire to go to a wrestling show, and when they do go, like they have fun. But if I'm like, "Hey, let's go to the wrestling," no. You sure? No. And like there's some wrestling shows that I cannot take my children to. Like I would not take my children to a game changer wrestling event.
That's fair. That's fair.
I was at the AEW event, Revolution, and I did see a lot of kids there. I would not take my children to an AEW event. It gets a little much, especially the death match at the end. It was a little intense. So
there's a few,
a family-friendly alternative, I think, is great. Of course, Memphis Wrestling, the United Wrestling Network offer a lot of family-friendly options, and yeah, I feel like that's an underserviced market where there's a lot of wrestling that's geared towards, that dynamic, that 18 to 35-year-old male. But I really feel like there is a, opportunity to serve a market that's greater than that. And again, that family friendly, I think, is so clutch, especially, in pro wrestling is typically a more affordable experience than, say, going to the movies, or there's a lot of entertainment options that become way more expensive. And in this economy, who could afford to spend, $40 for movie tickets and $40 for, overpriced stale popcorn, when you can go to a live independent show and really get an experience that is way better than seeing a movie or even like other sports activities. Like I can't go to a basketball game. I can't afford to go to an NBA game, but
my gosh, no.
You're going to get great seats at a wrestling show for $20 or $15. And I just feel like it's such a great service and value that the people need to talk about that more.
Say we're the Apple Pie Federation. That's our nickname in the area.
I love it.
Take it for what you will.
There's a lot of good references to be made, but I won't be making them tonight. I know that you do have places to go and people to see, and I do want to thank you for your time this evening. I know that one of these days I'm gonna make you sit down and talk to me for an hour, but I'm gonna let you go now because I know practice waits, and there are people in there that need to get punched in the face, and you're the one to do it. So again, I appreciate your time this evening. Please give my best to your son and your husband and tell them thank you for allowing you to be on the show and having a few minutes of your time. What's next? Where can folks see you next? Of course, a new Twitter account. That link is in the video description. The Instagram account, that's in the video description. But where else can people follow you on social media, and where else can they see you wrestle next?
Facebook, Big Bad Mama 06, and newly launching next week, Big Mama's House online. So I am launching my very first website, www.bigmamashouse.com. So definitely, please, next week, check it out. I will drop my launch into there on all my socials, so you guys will see that. That will have exclusive matches, merchandise, where I'm at, the whole 9 yards. Live, I will be at NWF Fight for the Future this weekend because I got to rep my man. I gotta help him because these boys are crazy these days.
Yeah, for sure.
They're crazy. And then coming up, I will be not at this upcoming Sunday Night Slam, but please check that out. However, I will be at the following Sunday Night Slam. I will be back to Memphis here soon, and I will be rolling into. I am in some talks For April in Cleveland is all I'm going to say. I cannot say who.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Mama, as always, you know best. Thank you for your time. And until next time, we'll see you at the matches. Thanks for joining the stream. This has been a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. We genuinely appreciate your support. Would you consider subscribing so you'll never miss a future episode? I'd also like to remind you we do a live stream every Tuesday at 5 p.m. before NWA Power. You can find us on social media at The Alliance Blog. And until next time, we are The Alliance. The Alliance.